The Midnight Circus. Once upon a time, in a small, forgotten town nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there was an extraordinary event that occurred only under the cloak of darkness: the Midnight Circus. This enigmatic spectacle arrived without warning, its tents springing up like mushrooms after a rainstorm, illuminated by flickering lanterns that cast eerie shadows on the ground. The townspeople whispered tales of its arrival, both fascinated and terrified by the mysterious performers who seemed to emerge from the very fabric of the night. On the eve of the circus, a heavy mist enveloped the town, wrapping it in an otherworldly embrace. The air crackled with anticipation, drawing a motley crowd to the circus's entrance, where a towering, bearded man, clad in a flamboyant costume, greeted them with a wide, toothy grin. He introduced himself as Barnabas, the ringmaster. His eyes glimmered with an unsettling energy, and as he beckoned everyone to enter, a sense of both excitement and trepidation filled the air. Once inside, the audience found themselves in a vast arena, surrounded by vibrant tents adorned with shimmering fabrics and peculiar decorations. The smell of caramel popcorn and roasted chestnuts wafted through the air, mingling with the scent of something darker, like burnt memories. The audience was an eclectic mix of townsfolk, curious children, weary adults, and even a few skeptical elders, all drawn together by an unexplainable force. The first act began with a flourish. A contortionist emerged from the shadows, twisting and bending her body into impossible shapes, her movements fluid as water. As she performed, the audience gasped, captivated by her grace, but as she twisted into an uncomfortable position, a whisper echoed through the tent, a voice that seemed to come from nowhere, urging the crowd to look deeper. The contortionist's face momentarily flickered, revealing the pain of a past filled with rejection and unfulfilled dreams. Next, a strong man took center stage. His bulging muscles and imposing stature seemed to defy the laws of nature. He lifted heavy objects with ease, but as he performed, the audience began to see flickers of his past, struggles of loneliness and despair that haunted him like dark clouds. With each weight he lifted, memories of childhood bullying surfaced, revealing not only strength, but the scars of a broken spirit. The more he lifted, the more the weight of his regrets became apparent, drawing silent gasps from the crowd. As the night unfolded, the acts grew more bizarre. A fire breather danced with flames, each burst of fire casting shadows of lost lovers and forgotten dreams. The flames flickered, revealing ghostly images of past relationships that ended in heartbreak. A pair of aerialists soared through the air, their graceful movements betraying the anguish of star-crossed lovers who had met tragic fates. They flew high, their bodies entwined, but the audience could see the strings of fate pulling them apart, their love story fraught with pain and longing. The audience, spellbound, began to realize that the performers were not just entertainers. They were bearers of their own stories, each act a reflection of the struggles they had endured. The atmosphere shifted, a palpable tension filling the air as something deeper began to awaken within the crowd. In the midst of the spectacle, a woman named Tammy found herself inexplicably drawn to the ringmaster. His magnetic presence commanded attention, but there was an underlying darkness in his smile. As the performances continued, she began to notice the audience's reactions, how some seemed entranced while others were visibly disturbed, as if they were witnessing more than just a show. Tammy felt the tugging at her heart, an urge to uncover the truth behind the circus and its performers. After the final act, a mesmerizing dance of shadows that illustrated the cycle of life and death, Barnabas stepped into the spotlight. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you have witnessed the magic of the Midnight Circus," he declared, his voice echoing through the tent. "But this night is just the beginning. We are not merely entertainers. We are the keepers of your stories, your fears, and your dreams. With that, he invited the audience to share their own stories, promising that the circus would listen and transform their pain into art. Reluctantly, a few brave souls stepped forward, sharing their deepest regrets and heartaches. A man spoke of losing his wife to illness, his voice trembling as he recounted their love story, filled with laughter and the bitter-sweet memory of her smile. A woman shared her struggles with addiction, the battle that had cost her everything, yet left her yearning for redemption. The atmosphere thickened with emotions as the circus performers listened intently, their expressions shifting from joy to sorrow as they absorbed the tales. Tammy, still captivated by Barnabas, found the courage to approach him. "What is this place? What do you gain from our stories?" she asked, her voice steady despite the unease in her heart. Barnabas smiled, but this time it was tinged with melancholy. "We are bound to this cursed circus, drawn to the stories of others. Each tale we hear strengthens our magic, but it also deepens our connection to the pain we carry. We are trapped in a cycle of performances that feed off the heartache of those who watch." Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. The lights flickered, and the audience began to murmur in confusion. Tammy sensed something was amiss. As she looked around, she noticed the performers' expressions had changed. No longer were they merely entertainers. They seemed to be fading, their forms growing translucent. Panic swept through the crowd as realization dawned. The circus was not just a spectacle, it was a living entity that thrived on their stories and emotions. Determined to break the cycle, Tammy rallied the audience, urging them to reclaim their narratives. "We will not be your puppets," she declared, her voice rising above the chaos. "Our stories are ours to tell, not yours to consume." As the townspeople joined her, their voices grew stronger. They shared tales of resilience, love, and hope, transforming the atmosphere from despair to defiance. The performers, caught in a web of their own making, began to shimmer and flicker, their forms shifting and distorting as they absorbed the collective strength of the stories being shared. Barnabas, realizing that he was losing control, transformed into a swirling mass of shadows, his grip on the circus weakening. In a final desperate attempt to reclaim their power, Tammy and the audience united, chanting their stories in unison, weaving a tapestry of light that pushed back against the darkness. The words flowed like a river, each story intertwining with the next, creating a powerful current of shared experiences. With a blinding flash, the Midnight Circus began to dissolve, the tents collapsing into themselves like a dream fading at dawn. The performers, now free from their burdens, transformed into ethereal beings of light, thanking the audience for their liberation, before vanishing into the night. The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the now empty arena, a chorus of triumph and newfound strength. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, the townspeople stood together, breathless but triumphant. Tammy looked around, her heart swelling with hope. The Midnight Circus had been both a curse and a blessing, a reminder of the power of storytelling and the importance of confronting one's fears. Word of the Midnight Circus spread throughout the town, transforming into a legend that would be passed down for generations. Tammy became a storyteller herself, sharing the tale of the circus and the lessons learned about the power of connection, vulnerability, and the strength found in unity. The townspeople, inspired by their experience, began to gather regularly to share their stories with one another. They created a community where vulnerability was celebrated and storytelling became a means of healing. Children listened wide-eyed as their parents recounted the night of the circus, while elders shared their own life stories, each tale a thread in the fabric of the town's history. Tammy found herself at the center of this newfound community. She established a storytelling circle that met each week under the stars, where people could come together, share their narratives, and support one another. Each story shared was a celebration of life, a testament to resilience, and a reminder that everyone's experience mattered. As the seasons changed, so did the town. The once quiet streets buzzed with laughter and camaraderie, a stark contrast to the silence that had enveloped it before the circus. Tammy, now known as the town's storyteller, transformed the tales of the Midnight Circus into a series of captivating narratives that she recorded and shared with the world. Her YouTube page grew in popularity, attracting viewers far and wide who were drawn to the raw, emotional power of her storytelling. With each video, she brought the essence of the Midnight Circus to life, weaving in the stories of those who had shared their truths. People resonated with the struggles, the triumphs, and the universal experience of being human. Tammy's subscribers multiplied, and soon she found herself with a devoted audience who eagerly awaited each new installment. The tale of the Midnight Circus became a phenomenon, inspiring countless others to share their stories. The world outside the town began to take notice, and Tammy was invited to speak at storytelling festivals, where she encouraged others to embrace their narratives and find strength in vulnerability. She held workshops teaching the art of storytelling and the importance of connection through shared experiences. As she traveled, Tammy met people from all walks of life, each carrying their own burdens, each with a story waiting to be told. She listened intently, sharing the magic of the Midnight Circus and the lessons it had imparted. Through her words, she inspired a movement, reminding everyone that their stories were powerful, capable of healing both the storyteller and the listener. But as Tammy's fame grew, so did the curiosity surrounding the Midnight Circus. People began to wonder if it would ever return. Whispers spread of sightings of flickering lights in the forest and strange sounds carried by the wind. Tammy, resolute in her belief that the circus was a living embodiment of stories, felt a pull to return to the place where it all began. One fateful evening, Tammy gathered a group of fellow storytellers, friends who had become like family through their shared experiences. Together, they ventured into the forest, guided by the light of the full moon. As they approached the clearing where the circus had once stood, Tammy felt an electric energy in the air, a sense of expectation that sent shivers down her spine. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and the tents began to reappear, vibrant and alive with color, as if conjured from the very essence of their stories. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, a reminder of the magic that had once filled the air. Tammy and her friends stood in awe as the ringmaster, Barnabas, materialized before them, his form now radiant, no longer veiled in shadows. "Welcome back, dear storytellers," he said, his voice resonating with warmth. "You have heeded the call of the Midnight Circus, the whispers of stories longing to be shared. We are here not to consume, but to celebrate the power of your narratives." The performers emerged from the shadows, their spirits free from the burdens they once carried. They were not merely entertainers. They had transformed into guardians of stories, there to guide Tammy and her friends through the magic of the night. Barnabas extended his hand toward them, inviting them to share their tales once more. Tammy felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. "We are here to reclaim the narratives and honor the stories that have shaped us," she declared. "Let us celebrate the magic of our experiences together." As the night unfolded, Tammy and her friends took turns sharing their stories, each one a thread woven into the fabric of the circus. Laughter erupted, tears flowed, and a profound sense of connection enveloped them all. The Midnight Circus became a tapestry of shared experiences, an affirmation of the strength found in vulnerability. As dawn broke, the circus began to fade once more, but this time it left behind a gift, a shimmering tapestry of light that captured the essence of each story told. Barnabas smiled, his eyes gleaming with pride. The Midnight Circus will always be a part of you. As long as stories are shared, its magic will live on. With that, the performers vanished into the light, leaving Tammy and her friends standing hand in hand, a newfound sense of purpose resonating in their hearts. They returned to their town, forever changed by the experience, ready to continue sharing their stories and inspiring others to do the same. Tammy's YouTube page blossomed, attracting even more subscribers as people resonated with the authenticity of her narratives. And every night, when the moon hung high in the sky, a faint echo of laughter and music could be heard, reminding the town of the magic that once was and the power of their own narratives, forever intertwined in the fabric of existence. As time passed, the legacy of the Midnight Circus lived on, not just as a story of a mysterious spectacle that appeared in the night, but as a lasting reminder that within each of us lies the power to transform our pain into art, to share our truths, and to connect with one another through the magic of storytelling. Tammy knew that as long as she had a voice, the Midnight Circus would never truly disappear, for every time a story was told, it came alive once more, resonating in the hearts of those who listened. And so, the Midnight Circus became a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope for all who dared to share their stories. The echoes of its laughter and music would forever remind the town and the world that in the darkest of nights, the light of shared stories can illuminate the path to freedom and healing.